Hi, I'm back. Apparently, there was some technical difficulty with the internet. I hope everything is working now. I'm going to reiterate what I was saying earlier. Okay. Um, I was talking about the Amazing Atheist, T.J. Kirk, from Louisiana. T.J. Kirk, known as the Amazing Atheist. He's also done Drunken Peasants Cafe, which I highly recommend. I highly recommend it with him, and I highly recommend the program without him. It's a good program. And of course, Deep Fat Fried, I recommend as well. Um, I always appreciated his political commentary on things like leftist economics, civil libertarianism, his crusade against political correctness, and his crusade for freedom of speech. I am so totally on board with that. And throughout the years, I've started hearing about him in 2008. I've always appreciated his insight, and just his expressive way of articulating what he articulates. And as I said, he's pretty damn funny when you watch his political commentaries. Anyway, yesterday he did August 30th. He did a live stream called "Bill and Ted: Weak Democrats, America Burns, and More." And he made a prediction about what would happen with the election in November. And unfortunately, there is a very bleak picture that I sadly have to agree with what he has to say. But there's always nuance. No matter how much you may agree or appreciate somebody's perspective, you got your own nuance on things. And I and he kind of expect most of us to come up with our own nuances and perspective on things. And it ain't pretty. No matter who wins this election in November, it's not going to be pretty. If Biden wins, the uh, the QAnon cult, the people who listens to Alex Jones as gospel, people like that. Well, I'm going to say the really unhinged people that will watch Alex Jones, the more unhinged members of his audience, and other conspiracy nuts of the far right. They will try to take over the Republican Party and discard all the benevolent or benign aspects of Donald Trump, which ain't many things that are benevolent or benign, but what little bit of positive things one can find in Trump, they would discard that and keep everything that's really ugly about Trump. The worshiping of the wall, the cult of personality, of a strong man with authoritarian impulses. Um, Somebody, they will advocate these things, and the Alex Joneses and the Michael Savages out there will become louder than ever. Um, but also they will add everything that was shitty about things prior to Trump coming into the scene in the Republican Party, the Bush Cheney movement, conservatism, the politics that evolves around the military industrial complex, the Heritage Foundation, the 700 Club, and the National Rifles Association, and Fox News, and Rush Limbaugh. They will kind of copy that, combine that with everything that's ugly about Donald Trump. And so the Republican Party will be shifting further to the right, become nuttier and more unhinged than ever. And I don't necessarily mean people who vote Republican, but I am talking about some of the people who runs for office as Republicans and actually wins office as Republicans. A lot of them are unhinged, and we're talking about people like Tom Cotton, U.S. senator from Arkansas, or people like Marjorie Taylor Greene in Northwest Georgia, who is likely to become a member of the U.S. House and in a very heavily Republican district in Northwest Georgia. Um, it'll be the worst of Alex Jones on talk radio, with the worst of people like Mark Levin, who's bad enough as it is. And I would say, in some ways, even a Mark Levin or Rush Limbaugh, in some ways, are worse than an Alex Jones. But you'll just see all that. Just it'll get uglier. And if yeah, and as I said, if Biden wins, I think that there will be armed conflict on the streets by some of the militia people that really seems to get all conspiracy happy during the time when there is a Democrat in the White House. Uh, um, uh, and that's really what it comes down to. They don't like their guy the guy that's occupying the White House, so they're going to go and try to prove how macho they are, and try to prove how alpha they are, and they're going to try to be as obnoxious and and as contentious as they can be. And if Trump wins, these same people will probably still be doing that, but they'll engage in selective outrage, and they'll say, well, look at those Democrats and look at the left, they're so contentious and divisive and everything. um, and um, I think that if the Republicans win, there's going to be again a lot of violent fighting on both sides. Um, and I don't care how you slice it or dice it. There is a narrative that they try to paint out like it's always the left that starts shit and everything. Um, Try asking people in Knoxville, Tennessee, at the Unitarian Church. I know it was in the year 2007. I know it was in the year 2007, but the James Atkinsons that murder several people in a Unitarian church in Knoxville, Tennessee, that's the kind of mentality that exists among the more fanatical side of the Trump um, political forces in this country, the Trump army. Um, yeah, some of them just standard Republican. They'll vote for Satan himself. It has an R beside their name. Just as there are Democrats that will vote for anything that has a D beside his name. So I mean, a hack is a hack, and some hacks, a lot of hacks are, you get kind of pissed off with the hacks, but they're relatively harmless, just annoying. I don't care what side you're on. Hacks are partisan hacks are annoying. I'm not talking about necessarily them. All I'm talking about the really ugly extremists out there. And I enjoyed what TJ said about both parties needs to be dismantled, especially after this election, and they really do. Because I think the two party system in itself keeps the division nasty. Yeah, because it's two dimensional. The two party system is like a chess game. It's two dimensional, and therefore, because of its two dimensional nature, um, it forces you to be in a box where you have to kind of choose one side or the other, and it's not always as simple as choosing one side or the other. There's a lot of nuances out there, because even though I am going to reluctantly vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the two people I did not want to see be chosen by the Democrats were the two people that got chosen. Um, I think that a whole lot worse is going to happen if Trump is reelected, and I have strong fears about the very nature of our representative democracy disappearing at this point in time. Not that I have any great hope or in Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, but objectively, Donald Trump and Mike Pence are worse. They are worse when it comes right down to it. Trump is a narcissistic, narcissistic asshat, bombastic asshole, and um, and Mike Pence is a religious nutcase. And this is why, since I live in North Carolina, North Carolina is more or less a purple state. And I'm going to say what I keep saying about this election. My heart and soul is with Howie Hawkins and the Green Party, but my brain unfortunately tells me that not this time, because I had the luxury of always, you know, not voting for the two-party system on a presidential level, because it's always dog shit versus cat shit, and it's still that way, but even more so this year. And that's uh that's where we're at, folks. That is where we're at. Anyway, if you ever get a chance, check out the Amazing Atheist. He's really good to listen to, and I just wanted to give a shout out because I enjoy his commentaries, and it works for me because I work very late at night, work graveyard shift. I don't have a lot of people to work around, so I get on my cell phone and I can listen to it on YouTube, even though it can be a tad bit long at times. And being a YouTube personality myself, I look forward to the day where it might become a living instead of the hobby that it is right now. A hobby that I deeply enjoy because politics motivates me a great deal. Anyway, if you like what you heard, press like. If you dislike it, press dislike. Either way, comment. Please comment on it. Share this information. Share this information on this channel. And above all else, subscribe. If you have something you're passionate about and you got a platform, utilize it. And I say this as a free speech absolutist because we are the muckrakers of our time. And until next time, peace. And Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024. And no, I wasn't kidding when I said it.